My cousin Maya and I weren't just family. We were the duo everyone expected to buy houses next door to each other. We shared clothes, secrets, and a mutual understanding of our chaotic family dynamics. So when I started dating David, she was the first person I introduced him to. David is quiet, incredibly grounded, and works as an architectural restorer, meaning he spends days obsessing over details most people ignore. Maya was immediately supportive, or so I thought. She'd invite us out, text David about gift ideas for my birthday, and even helped him plan our 2-year anniversary dinner. But looking back, that dinner was exactly when the cracks started to show, and I was completely blind to it. We were at this beautiful rooftop restaurant, and Maya unexpectedly showed up because she happened to be in the area. I didn't mind, I loved her, but as the night went on, her energy shifted. She started bringing up old, deeply personal stories from my college years, specifically about my worst heartbreak, and framing them as light-hearted jokes. David looked uncomfortable, trying to politely steer the conversation back to his current project, but Maya kept pushing, dropping subtle hints that I've always had a habit of settling when I get comfortable. I laughed it off that night, putting it down to her having one too many drinks. But a few days later, David asked me a question that made my stomach drop. He asked if I genuinely saw a long-term future with him, or if I was just terrified of being alone again. Maya had texted him privately, supposedly to check in on how he felt after hearing about my past. When David showed me those texts, I felt a sudden rush of defensiveness, not for myself, but for Maya. I told him she just has a clumsy way of protecting me because she saw how devastated I was after my last breakup. David accepted that because he's patient, but a distance started growing between us anyway. The easy confidence we used to have was replaced by this weird, unspoken hesitation. Over the next month, Maya became a ghost in my life, but a constant presence in David's digital space. She'd send him links to articles about architecture, ask for his professional advice on a renovation project she was supposedly planning, and reply to his social media stories with inside jokes from that anniversary dinner. I only found out the true extent of it when David and I were cooking dinner one Friday night. His phone buzzed on the counter with a preview of a message from Maya that read, "You really don't have to pretend with me. I know how exhausting it is to constantly walk on eggshells around her." I froze, holding a kitchen knife, staring at the screen. David immediately grabbed the phone, looking incredibly guilty, which hurt worse than the message itself. He confessed that Maya had been calling him, positioning herself as his confidant. She told him that I had been complaining about his work schedule, that I felt neglected, and that she was trying to help him fix things before I gave up on him. The terrifying part? I had never said a single one of those things to her. She was fabricating an entire narrative of a failing relationship. I sat on the kitchen floor and cried, not just because my relationship felt like it was slipping away, but because the person I trusted most in the world was the one pulling the strings. David sat next to me, deeply apologetic. He admitted he should have told me sooner, but Maya had framed it as a secret rescue mission to save our relationship, warning him that if he confronted me, my anxiety would make me shut down completely. Her manipulation was brilliant because it weaponized David's best trait, his desire to protect the people he loves. That night, David and I made a pact. No more responding to her. We needed to see how far she would go if she thought her plan was working. 2 weeks went by in total silence from our end. Maya noticed. One evening, while David was at a networking event, she showed up at my apartment unannounced with a bottle of wine and a somber expression. She sat on my couch, took my hands, and told me she had some incredibly difficult news. She claimed that she had run into David at a coffee shop downtown, and he was with another woman. She described the woman's outfit, how close they were sitting, and said David looked terrified when he saw her. She looked me dead in the eye, tears welling up in her own, and said, "I'm so sorry, but you deserve someone who actually values you." My heart pounded against my ribs, because I knew for an absolute fact that David had been on a Zoom presentation with his entire firm at that exact hour. I looked at Maya, my eyes burning, and I chose to play along. I let out a shaky breath, squeezed her hands, and whispered, "What should I do?" The instant shift in her demeanor was chilling. The performative sadness vanished, replaced by an intense, focused energy. She immediately told me I needed to pack my things, go stay at our parents' cabin for the weekend, and block his number without giving him closure. She said, "Let me handle him. I'll go to his place, tell him you know everything, and make sure he doesn't try to manipulate you into staying." It became crystal clear right then. She didn't just want to break us up. She wanted to be the hero who rescued me, while simultaneously becoming the central figure in David's life during his breakup. I stood up, walked over to my kitchen counter, and picked up my phone. I had started a voice recording the moment she walked through my door. I played the last 2 minutes of our conversation out loud. The sound of her own voice plotting to isolate me filled the quiet apartment. Maya's face drained of color. She stood up, staggering slightly, and tried to laugh it off as a joke, a test to see if I'd believe rumors about David. But the mask had completely shattered. I told her to get out of my apartment and never speak to me or David ever again. The fallout was messy, exhausting, and divided our entire family. When Maya realized she couldn't control me anymore, she went on the defensive. She told our aunt, our cousins, and my parents that David had brainwashed me, turning me against her because she called out his toxic behavior. For months, family gatherings were suffocating. Some relatives accused me of choosing a guy I'd known for 2 years over blood, while others just stayed uncomfortably silent. But David and I didn't back down. We chose to protect our peace, rebuilding our trust from the ground up. We started going to couples therapy, not because our love was broken, but to learn how to heal from an emotional violation that came from inside my own circle. It's been a year since that night. David and I just signed a lease on our first actual home together. Maya was not invited to the housewarming, and she likely never will be. The hardest realization I had to come to was that some people don't want to see you happy if your happiness doesn't revolve around them or serve their ego. Maya couldn't handle that I had a space in my life where she wasn't the main character. It cost me a cousin I loved, but it saved my future. And it taught me that family isn't about shared blood. It's about who actually protects your heart when the doors are closed.